Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video of DIY investing. For today's video, we're going to be talking about the two scenarios that I see playing out for Bitcoin. As you guys already know, I talked in my last video about how I saw Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptos potentially going lower. And for today's video, we're going to touch up on some more details surrounding that analysis, give you guys a little bit of an understanding as to why I still think we're going to see downside, and then ultimately giving you guys an idea as to how to trade the market when the volatility comes in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And with that being said, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, so here we are to start off today's video. For everybody that's been asking me where I'm at, as you guys can tell by my voice, I've been sick. I'm still recovering. I haven't been able to even record a video because I lost my voice for so long, and so now I'm just barely to the point where I can actually talk on a camera. So that's why I've been gone. I also was with family the week before, so the last couple weeks I've just kind of been gone doing different things, and then I got sick after all of that. So that's where I've been. Now that I've been starting to feel a little bit better, I'm going to be making more videos and more content for you guys. One final thing, I'm going to make the camera a little bit bigger. I felt like I might as well. If I need to make it smaller in the videos, I will adjust it, but some of you guys said that you kind of liked it, so I'm going to run with it. If you guys don't like it, let me know. I want to hear you guys' opinions. But with that being said, let's finally talk about what is happening inside of the Bitcoin price. And as you guys know, what we've been talking about has been more or less whether we are going to hold support above this, or whether it was going to end up turning into resistance. And every single time we have made an attempt to break out, this has gotten rejected and we continue to fall below. So what I talked about in my last video was why I was starting to lean towards this actually being a bearish setup, and why this was most likely going to continue to the downside. Even though we ended up getting another attempt at a breakout, this was once again rejected, and we're once again sitting back down near the range lows. So as it stands, to me this looks bearish. To me this looks like it's most likely going to get one more leg lower before this is done. And what is more or less telling me that is when we come over here and actually take a look at the total market cap. This is the thing that's giving it away. Now, what this entire consolidation reminds me of, and specifically what I mean by that, is from the very bottom of our cycle all the way to where we're at. This entire run up, it looks exactly like a bigger version of the most recent correction that we just went through over here. And so we're going to get into that a little bit more right now and kind of give you guys my thoughts as to what could potentially be coming for Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto markets. Now, right off the bat, this was our very first sell-off that we had when we initially broke out from our range lows being at the end of the year. Now, when we broke out, you guys remember that we made this range where we kind of had this support range and we had a resistance range. We could draw this even a little bit lower. But inside of this range, we were kind of bouncing back and forth. Now, whatever way that this range broke was actually a fake out before we saw a bigger move in the opposite degree. What I mean by that, notice how we made an attempt at a breakout right here. We cleared the range highs. Everybody thought this was bullish. And then that was instantly where we started that final sell-off. Now, guys, the second that this became a fake breakout and then this started acting as resistance right again, remember, this was the resistance over here. So when that happened, that was what set us in for one more final sell-off to the downside. And that was what we saw at the ending point of that correction. And if you guys remember, that went all the way back down to the 618. And that was where we were targeting for a buyback. So we ended up buying back in. We made good profit throughout this entire correction. And then the market went up for one more high. Now we're at this point in time inside of the market where, to me, this looks almost the exact same as the same correction that we just saw over here. Notice how we have the range highs, the range lows as support. We're consolidating. The way that we get a breakout was to the upside. We're unable to hold that. We correct back down. And then this resistance ends up rejecting the entire price action. We're holding below. And now, in my opinion, this is going to be setting us up for one more final C leg that will complete this correction. The difference here is this was a wave 3, right? Because if we get into our Elliott wave count, we have wave 1, we have wave 3, wave 4. This was an expanded flat correction. And then this was wave 5. Now, this entire move right here, in my opinion, is starting an ABC correction back down, right? And it'll look like this. A, B, C. And we'll remove this because I was just simply drawing this as a way to compare it to over here. But what I'm watching now from here is in the same way that when this was unable to hold the breakout, we sold back below this resistance It was acting as resistance because we were getting rejected below it. And then that set us in for one more final flush to the downside that completed that correction. I believe that Bitcoin is at the exact same moment of time, and we're going to most likely see another final C leg to the downside that'll be very similar to this one that we saw there. So this entire consolidation was a 3-wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And so this is going to be happening after a wave 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this will be a bigger correction than the one that we saw down in here. But the same thing is we're going to be targeting the 618. So the 618 Fibonacci is going to be all the way down here at basically $930 billion in total market cap. But that's based off the total market cap. That's going to be taking us right around that same exact bottoming point of our last sell-off. And that's kind of what I'm going to be watching for. For me, I'm watching the 618, which could be just right here above it at around, well, let's go look at the Bitcoin price. So if Bitcoin makes one more final sell-off here, let's see where that potentially could stack us. So the 618 for Bitcoin is going to be 21,439. So that would be a massive move all the way back down to the 618. Is it going to have to go all the way down to the 618? I don't know exactly. Well, I'm watching for Bitcoin right here, because the Bitcoin chart's going to look a little bit different, right? The Bitcoin chart, we have this entire support level that we were holding on, or what I should say, the August highs, right? That was our level that we had been paying attention to for a long period of time. And so we broke out of this. So most likely we're going to have to come back down and retest it. So for me, when I'm watching Bitcoin, I'm not necessarily watching it to come all the way to the 618, although I do think it's definitely possible. I'm watching Bitcoin to come back down to 25K or the 382. So that's the way that I think Bitcoin is going to play out. The total market cap, though, the total market cap didn't have as big of a breakout, right? Because if we come over here and draw a line at the August highs, we barely got a breakout from that point. So this entire move was nothing like what we saw with Bitcoin, where Bitcoin made a very large move beyond those all-time highs. So for Bitcoin to come down to 25K is the same as the total market cap coming to all the way back down to the 618, because we have to keep in mind that the altcoins are also factoring in a lot of things. And when we're looking at the altcoins, it's pretty much right on par with all of the rest of this update. Now, the altcoins didn't go as high. They weren't even able to hit their August high. They were stuffed just short of that. And then we sold off, and this entire level that I was talking about, why we needed to hold as support, has now became resistance. We've rejected off of it. We've closed off of it as bearish resistance. Too many times to count. So at this point, we're expecting one more final flush. So guys, in the same way, what we're targeting is the 618 fib. The 618 fib is going to be taking us down here to about $520 billion in total market cap, and I think it can go as low as the 786. So really what we're targeting is the exact same place that we were targeting in this sell-off right here, all the way over here. When we were watching this first run up, we were targeting the 618 for a potential retest. And that's exactly what happened in this sell-off. We got filled on a lot of buy orders, and then the market finished its final impulse. And so in the same way that we were targeting the 618 down in here, I'm targeting the 618 for this entire impulse, because this was just a wave 3 top. This is an entirety of a first Elliott wave cycle. So we need to see our first ABC correction down in here, truly confirm our first impulse, and then in my opinion, that's where we set the stage for a breakout above the 300-day range. I know that you guys have been hearing me talk about why I thought we were going to be breaking out of this 300-day range. I've been talking about it the entirety of this move, but the problem is, guys, I'm willing to adapt my trading plan if I feel like the market's going to change. And at this point, I believe the market trend has shifted. I think that personally, Bitcoin and the rest of the markets are going to finish one more sell-off, and then most likely that's the point where we could be looking, and then most likely that's the point where we'd be looking for a reversal and the next leg up in this trend. And so if we're looking at this, guys, man, my voice sucks. I hate it. Anyways, what we're looking here, guys, when this sell-off comes in, I don't know how long it's going to take. I would probably say most likely towards, well, I mean, here's the thing, guys. All we have to look at is a couple different scenarios. We can look at our last bottom cycle and how long that took to complete. Now, from the point of us topping, it was like 260 days. Yeah, 260 days before we bottomed. I don't know what our exact market structure is going to look in here, but I don't think it's going to be exactly the same as this as far as how long it took. What I'm going to be watching for is a correction back down to the 618. That's all I'm watching for. I'm playing it level to level, ignoring time so much just because for me, time is factored on a lot bigger basis. The bottom of this cycle was the exact bottom of a 4-year cycle. So that's the cycle that we're playing, right? That's all that we're watching for. We're so far in advance that we're not really watching for any major short-term time frames. All that's happening in these shorter corrections is what I'm watching is level to level so that I can look to buy back in when we've hit these important levels, being the 618. And then from that, I'm actually back into the market and I can trade. But I think it's better to play it level to level than you are trying to say, well, I'm going to buy, in August or the end of this year, just making up a number, because we don't really know if there's going to be any consistency with those time frames, because the consistency with our time frames happens at our cycle top and it happens at our cycle bottom, and we just finished the cycle bottom. So for me, guys, now that we're at this point, I believe that we're going to get one more final correction down in here. Once we hit the 618, that's the buy opportunity. I don't care about the time in between so much, but that's kind of what I'm going to be watching for down in here. And then from there, we might literally have to go through a little bit of sideways action. Maybe it really is at the end of the summer before we get a true point of us starting to, uptrend again. And I don't know how long it's going to take for us to build a true foundation, but I mean, this is the first impulse. And oftentimes in these first impulses, they can get, kind of slow, and they take a little bit more long period of time, I should say, before they've built a foundation for further upside. But when we're looking at this on a big picture basis, guys, just to summarize this whole video, this will only be our first impulse. That will be a wave 1. Whenever we bottom at the bottom of this C leg, that will be our wave 2. And then what we'll be getting ready for next is actually a wave 3 impulse, right? And so wave 3, just based off of Fibonacci, our minimum target for our next impulse, let's just assume we bottom down here right at the very low point of this sell-off at like 600 or 500 billion in market cap. Our low end target, the lowest target we would have to hit for this to be a confirmed 3 wave, would be all the way up here at about 870 billion, which will be taking us basically to the bottom of this support that we held at the very beginning of our bear market. So this first support that we held, we would basically be running up to a low end of that. And we can go, even as high upwards of the 2618. And so for me, I'm watching this entire range here. We could go anywhere from the low end, which would probably be about $35,000 per Bitcoin, maybe a little higher than that, all the way up to about $48,500 per Bitcoin. And that's what I'm going to be watching for the next leg up. But like I stated, guys, if we're going to see this correction like I think we will, don't get caught off guard. Now would be the time to take some profits if you're in profit. And that's kind of what I told you guys in my last video. If you're in anything that you're in profit, now it would be the time to take the profit. Take the short loss or small loss if you're in it, if you're worried about further downside, or if you're somebody that's just betting big on the long term. Obviously you just do your thing by holding. But this is just the video I wanted to give you. It's been a little while since my last one. You guys now understand where I've been. So I'm going to look to give you guys some more content. Want to make these a little bit shorter because I can already feel my voice is starting to crack a little bit and it's hurting. So thank you guys so much for the support. Thank you guys for everybody that reached out, said get feeling better and all of that positivity. I really appreciate you guys a lot. Wanted to give you guys this update to summarize some of those thoughts. I've been thinking a lot about the market since I haven't been able to upload. It sucks wanting to be able to upload and not being able to physically talk to do it. And so now that I'm at the point, I'm just really happy to finally give you guys this update. So if you guys did find value, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any updates that I make in the future. If you guys want to be able to follow all the trades that I take, see anything that I'm doing over the course of this entire cycle in my Discord server, links are in the description for that as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And, seeing the markets, even with us, what I believe is us getting another sell-off, I still think that the big picture looks very, very bullish. I'm still super optimistic about the next 3 years of crypto. And, I think that I'm most optimistic about the fact that you guys that are watching these videos today, all of the remainder people that have been around here, that have continued to support, or the new people that are just barely finding this channel, you guys are the ones that are positioned now to be able to capture the majority of that move. And so I can't tell you guys how profitable it is to be here early, to be here right now. And even if you don't have a lot of money, I can't tell you guys how many people I know personally, how, for me even, I've taken small investments and have been able to turn it into amount to buy a house. And so I know firsthand what that's like and how realistic of a possibility it is. We just saw Pepe coin blow up. Somebody turned, $27 into like 10 million or something crazy. So it just goes to show that anything is possible. possible out here. Although it's not likely, you really are at the best opportunity to do that right now. So I really am looking forward to being able to trade this with you guys. Thank you guys so much for the support once again. And with that being said, I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.